Hello and welcome to Pasquini Coffee Company. My name is Brendan Pasquini, and for this video we will be showing you the basics of how to adjust your grinder correctly. While there are a lot of nuances out there and particular grinding methods, tools to use, and other items, this video will focus primarily on the basics of how to adjust your grinder, and we'll be posting a separate video on more enthusiast and barista level grinding techniques. But for now, this video will show you how to get the most out of your grinder from beginner to expert alike. For this video, we'll be using Mrs. Pasquini's custom La Marzocco Linea Mini, along with a Eureka Atom 60 and a Ceado E6P. The reason we chose these two grinders for this video is that these grinders show both a dial adjuster and a collar adjuster, which are the two most common types of grind adjusters available on the market. To start our tutorial, we'll be using the Eureka Atom grinder with the dial adjuster on the top right side. Now, the first thing you want to do before adjusting your grinder is to look at the number that it's set to and promptly discard it. We get plenty of calls a day asking, what number should my grinder be set to in order to make espresso? And the answer is, it doesn't really matter because those numbers don't actually mean anything. There's no grind correlation to a number, and two grinders made in the same day in the same factory with the same coffee will have two completely different number settings to yield the same espresso result. So those numbers do not matter. Please do not fixate on them, as we do run into that trouble often when calibrating grinders, and simply go by feel and by the product you're getting when you're extracting the espresso. Once you have high quality espresso coffee in your espresso grinder, we can begin the calibration process. However, for most beginners, we highly recommend to use a scale when first calibrating your grinder. Using a scale will ensure that you're using the same weight for every single shot and removing one of the main variables from the extraction process. If you're using, say, a 14-gram basket and you're putting in 12 grams or 15 grams or 13 grams and it's changing in between each shot, then the calibration is going to be off because the amount of coffee is also going to affect the extraction. So to remove that variance, we recommend a high quality scale. On Pasquini.com, we sell Akaya scales that are the highest quality scales in the industry. And for this video, we'll be using the Akaya Lunar scale, which is available on the link below. For this video, we will also be using the Akaya dosing cup, which allows for accurate dosing and clean, easy distribution into your port filter. For this particular video, our La Marzocco Linea Mini is equipped with the 14-gram European standard double basket, so we'll be using that measurement for the duration of this video. To start, go ahead and grind some coffee into your catch chamber. Just get a baseline for where the grinder's set. As shown on our Akaya scale, we have dosed out 14 grams of coffee, so we'll go ahead and make a test shot with our 14-gram basket on our La Marzocco Linea Mini. Using our Pasquini tamper, we'll go ahead and apply the correct amount of tamping pressure to have a smooth, even tamping surface. Now we're ready to make our first shot to see where our coffee is set to. Go ahead and turn on the brew paddle for the machine and see how the coffee comes out. We're looking for nice thin streams of coffee that don't come out too fast and don't come out too slow. As you can see on our test shot here, the coffee came out good, but it's a little bit fast, so we can definitely fine it up a little bit more to get a better extraction. The general rule of thumb you're looking for is if you have really fast, high-flowing coffee, then your coffee's set too coarse and you need to make it more fine. If you have really slow drips that are kind of brown in color, that means the coffee is coming out too slow and is being over-extracted. So the goal here is to find a middle ground between too fast and too slow to get that just right Goldilocks taste to the coffee. Now that we've identified that our coffee is a little bit too fast, we're going to go ahead and fine up our grinder slightly. One thing you want to make sure you do when you make an adjustment to your grinder is purge the grinder for a few seconds after making any adjustment. We'll go ahead and turn our grinder a little bit more fine. The reason that you purge out some of the coffee and discard it is to get rid of the old setting that's still inside the grind chamber. Even the best grinders that claim full zero retention always have a little bit of coffee still left in the grind chamber. And if you don't purge it before, you're going to use some of that old setting, mix with some of the new setting, and therefore it's going to give you an inaccurate description of how your coffee is coming out. So make sure you get rid of all the old coffee first, and then test the new shot with using 100% of your new grind setting. So now that we've fined up our shot a little bit, let's go ahead and make a second shot and see how it comes out. As you can see from that shot, the coffee came out much slower and had much thinner streams. This would probably be an example of a little bit too fine. So as you can see, I went from too coarse to too fine, so that means the correct adjustment is somewhere in between. This is where these numbers come in handy. When I looked at the grind setting before, I can see what number it was at what number I moved it to. So now I know that the correct setting is somewhere in between those two numbers. So when you're making these adjustments, use those numbers as a reference guide and keep going through trial and error until you get the shot you want. One thing to keep in mind when you're grinding your espresso is that oftentimes you'll read online things such as you have to tamp at 35 pounds, you have to make sure you get 20 to 25 second shot extraction. And while those are all handy, remember that these are just guidelines. At the end of the day, coffee is food and you dictate what shot is good and what shot is bad. If you pull a 10-second shot and it's absolutely delicious, then 10 seconds is perfect for you. Don't try to chase the numbers. Make sure that you're making the shot that tastes good to you, and even if it comes out not quite correct according to the internet blogs, if you like the flavor profile, then congratulations, you have the correct shot. You don't need to make it fit those numbers. Make sure it fits a taste profile and not a weight profile. Thank you for watching our grinder tutorial video. To see more videos like this, click the subscribe button below and stay tuned for our more in-depth grinder tutorial video that will go over advanced level techniques and the methodology behind them. For more information about Pasquini and our products, go to www.pasquini.com. Thank you.